local, national and international scene on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. Listen to the news at dawn at 6:30 a.m. The news at noon at 6 p.m. The news on weekends at 12 noon and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Family Love, your source for the news.
Online, on your mobile, and on your smart speaker with the latest news. This is Family Love 97.7 FM.
Welcome to the News Hour.
Good afternoon, family member, and welcome to the news. Be more responsible, stop killing the environment, stop pipeline vandalism and indiscriminate disposal of all kinds of waste. I am Victor Peter with the news. In the highlights, presidency to close public submissions of proposed national policing bill today. Governor Siminalayi Fubara denies any rift with the State House of Assembly over 2026 appropriation bill. 100-level student of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education shot after suspected cultist opened fire on the campus. Plus, U.S. sets up task force to end birth tourism and revokes over 600 visas worldwide. Details coming up shortly. Thank you for joining us on the news. We begin with the report that the presidency has announced that public submissions on the proposed national policing bill will close by 5 p.m. today, Thursday, August 13, 2026, urging Nigerians to submit their views on the planned establishment of state police. The Chief of Staff to the President and Chairman of the Presidential Working Group on the National Policing Bill, Femi Gbajabiamila, disclosed these on Wednesday, saying the consultation was designed to incorporate the experiences and professional expertise of Nigerians into the proposed legislation. Gbajabiamila said the submissions will be particularly useful in addressing concerns over political interference, oversight, police misconduct, and intelligence sharing between federal and state police services. He said the consultation would not replace the role of the National Assembly, which would retain the power to scrutinize, amend, reject, or pass the bill when transmitted. Here in Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has denied any rift with the State House of Assembly over the 2026 appropriation bill submitted to the lawmakers. You will recall that the governor on July 10th submitted a budget proposal of 1.85 trillion naira to the Martin Amewule-led House for consideration and approval. More than 1 month after it was presented to the House, the budget estimate had yet to be passed into law by the Assembly, despite assurances by the Speaker, Amewule, who had expressed concern over the late presentation, but said the lawmakers would give the proposal the needed attention it deserved in the interest of the state. However, Fubara, in a statement issued on Wednesday by his chief press secretary, Onwuka Nzeshi said he was working closely with the lawmakers to serve the people of the state. The statement, titled Fubara Not at Loggerheads with Rivers State House of Assembly, said the 2026 budget, which was presented to the Assembly, was going through the normal legislative process and expressed the hope that once the process was completed, the bill will be passed into law by the lawmakers. Meanwhile, the delayed passage of the Rivers State 2026 appropriation bill, by the State House of Assembly has raised worries in the minds of some concerned indigenes in the state. Dr. Paul Unwala, a public affairs analyst who spoke on a live interactive program on Family Love FM Port Harcourt, believes that the delay is in tune with procedure of budget passage. He said the Assembly members are being careful based on the content of the budget in order to avoid making mistakes.
Has to do with budget appropriation like this. I believe that it's not something that should be in a haste, so that there will not be missed. That's why I said we don't need to be in a haste by either condemning either the assembly, questioning the governor may have done. It depends on the content of that budget. It also depends on the engagement those who are proposed. But whatever be the case, it should have been something to have been paid urgent attention, so that the effect of the delay on the Rivers people, should have been averted. So I am saying that whatever that may have caused the delay, the assembly members should not as possible do the needful.
Meanwhile, he urged the State Assembly to live up to its responsibility.
Governors have done what is required to be done. To the members of the legislature, so the message now and the question now goes to the State House of Assembly. Why have this been able, why is this delay? What is it that's actually causing this delay? If at all there were agreements reached and perhaps the governor has fulfilled his own part, what then is holding? So it's about time that Rivers people will now hold the State House of Assembly accountable as well perform their own responsibility.
Meanwhile, a commentator who called into the program also has this to say.
Where one man now decide the fate of River State in the history of mankind. The reason this budget has not been passed, let us ask former Governor Yusuf Wike. He has said and acclaimed that is the one that determined governance in River State. So until when he has decided that governance should start putting the wheels of governance, it's a clarion call to us River sons and daughters. If you are comfortable with how the state is degrading, keep supporting this kind of governance. But if you say no, want to take back our River State, I think it's time for us to have a roundtable discussion so that this Armageddon can be chased out of River.
A 100-level student of the Ignatius Ajuri University of Education, Rumulumini, Rivers State, has reportedly sustained gunshot injuries after suspected quarters opened fire on the university campus on Wednesday. The incident occurred barely 2 days after suspected rival court groups engaged in a shooting confrontation on the campus, heightening concerns over security among students and staff. The earlier clash, which occurred on Monday, was reportedly linked to a supremacy dispute between suspected members of the Vikings and Ku Klux Klan cult groups. Details surrounding Wednesday's shooting remained unclear as of the time of filing this report. The Rivers State Police Command had earlier confirmed the Monday incident involving suspected rival cult groups. The command spokesperson, Blessing Agabe, An assistant superintendent of police said the police were investigating the earlier confrontation. Meanwhile, amid the security concerns, the management of the university has announced the immediate suspension of all remaining activities scheduled for the Students' Union Government Week. In a statement issued in Port Harcourt on Wednesday, the institution's registrar, Dr. Chinonyi Ajie, directed students to resume normal academic activities on Thursday, August 13, 2026. The management warned students against actions capable of disrupting their studies or threatening peace and security within the university. The university further warned that students who failed to attend their lectures would be held responsible for their actions. It also urged students to avoid conduct that could jeopardize their academic progress or undermine the peace and security of the institution. And just before the break, the Association of Nigeria Licensed Customs Agents and ANLCA, ONAIR youths and other stakeholders at the ONAIR port have issued a 4-day ultimatum to the federal government to call off the e-call-up levies imposed on trucks in ONAIR port and fix all deplorable internal roads leading to the port. This was made known in a joint press conference with Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Nigerian Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, Africa Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics of Nigeria, National Council of Managing Directors of Licensed Customs Agents, Association of Registered Freight Forwarders of Nigeria, and ONAIR Youth Congress. Speaking on behalf of the joint unions, the ONAIR chapter chairman of ANCA, Ifeanyi Isikaku, called on the federal government to allocate a fraction of the sum of 487 billion naira revenue realized from ONAIR port between January to July 2026 to fix and maintain the internal access roads leading to ONAIR port for the safety of its members and ONAIR host community. Isikaku said the groups were dissatisfied with the Nigerian Ports Authority's failure to provide adequate facilities and sufficient holding bays before introducing the e-call-up system and resolved that members would no longer participate in what they described as arbitrary and excessive charges associated with the e-call-up system and insisted that it remained suspended until all identified challenges are addressed.
All access roads within ONAIR port leading to the port be properly maintained to prevent frequent container fall incidents, injuries to members, and loss of lives arising from deplorable state of the roads. But our members shall no longer participate in the arbitrary and bogus payments associated with e-call-up system of transports at ONAIR port. And the implementation of e-call-up system of transport be suspended until adequate holding bays are built to accommodate the number of trucks operating at the port. This suspension will take effect from Monday, August 17, 2026.
He also disclosed that the Nigerian Customs Service generated about 439 billion naira from the ONAIR Port Command between January and July 2026, while the Oil and Gas Free Zone Customs recorded approximately over 48 billion naira within the same period, bringing total revenue to about 487 billion naira. Also speaking, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Uche Ogbu, noted that they will not pay the e-call-up if their demands are not met, and therefore called on the federal government to allocate part of the revenue generated from the port to rehabilitate and maintain internal access roads leading to ONAIR port for the safety of port users and residents of the host communities.
In collaboration with the whole association chairman and the community, we are going to down tools from Monday, demonstrate this colossal failure of government to fix the facilities where we do our business. Down our tools, and after downing our tools, even when we are going to start operations or start loading, we'll ask our members to go inside the ports, load and then pay for income. We have control over our members.
Our correspondent Stuart Wawara reports that other members of the union who also spoke at the briefing expressed displeasure on the matter.
The importers, cargoes will not come into the port again, and we all lose our businesses. So prepare the road to tell Nigerian government, especially our president, to come to our aid and fix this port so that we can protect our businesses.
We had an agreement with NPA, which they breached of being at the receiving end. The little activities of ours here can contribute to so many things. We have not mentioned the number of trucks that falls here every day. You go and load a truck from a terminal and they are coming and they run about here, the truck falls. The goods are damaged. And during this period of e-column, NPA are generating nothing less than billions of naira. But is there any result for it? No.
PA should help us because they are the one managing the port. They are just operators, and now they are working.
You're listening to Family Love FM News. The news continues in just a moment. Still to come, CBN announces removal of restrictions on discount window access for foreign exchange and open market operations. Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of the news. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has reviewed its discount window restrictions and the framework governing participation in open market operations, OMO. This was disclosed in a circular signed by the Apex Bank's acting director of the Financial Markets Department, Wakis Corner, on Wednesday. With the latest review, the CBN said the existing restriction on participation in OMO auctions by institutions accessing the discount window on the same day will remain in force. The Apex Bank further said the suspension of tenured repo transaction has been lifted. The CBN noted that the review takes effect immediately. And on the foreign scene, the United States government has established a new interagency task force to clamp down on birth tourism, a practice where foreign nationals travel to the U.S. primarily to give birth and secure American citizenship for their children. The Birth Tourism Prevention Task Force, announced today by the Department of State under President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, has already revoked over 600 visas across different regions of the world in the first round of action. The new move came after Trump signed 2 executive orders the previous week directing federal agencies to deny visas, revoke travel authorization, and deport foreign nationals who enter the country for the purpose of giving birth. According to a fact sheet released by the Office of the Spokesperson, the move was part of a broader effort to defend the integrity of U.S. citizenship and ensure that non-immigrant visas were used only for the lawful purposes. And in sports, the Super Falcons of Nigeria are now set for a redemption mission to secure a 2027 FIFA World Cup ticket as they aim to overcome South Africa. The 10-time CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON winners will take on Bayana today, Thursday, for a spot in the Intercontinental Playoffs. Africa has 2 playoff slots, the winner between Nigeria and South Africa alongside the winner of the tie between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire will progress to the global stage. The Intercontinental Playoff will take place in November, and if Nigeria eventually wins against their opponent, they will qualify for the 2027 World Cup. The Super Falcons are going through this route after they failed to qualify for the 2027 World Cup via an automatic ticket following their 1-0 defeat to Cameroon in the WAFCON quarter-final played on Sunday. And that's a package for you, family member. Before we go, here are the main points. We told you that presidency has planned to close public submissions of proposed national policing bill today. We also heard that 100-level students of Ignatius Ejuru University of Education has been shot after suspected quarters opened fire on the campus. We also brought you the report that U.S. has set up task force to end birth tourism and revokes over 600 visas worldwide. That's the news on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt, as edited by Felix Banako. I am Victor Peter. Thank you for listening. Do enjoy the rest of today's broadcast. Good afternoon.
Stay up to date with the biggest news and current affairs from the local, national and international scene on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. Listen to the news at dawn at 6:30 a.m. The news at noon at 6 p.m. The news on weekends at 12 noon and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Family Love, your source for the news.